You're watching Caribbean Vibrations TV, and today we're coming to you from the Rouge Valley Hyperbaric Medical Center. I'm here with one of the founders, Dr. Hance Clarke. How are you doing today, sir?
Not too bad, Alan. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, and I really want to thank you for bringing us today because I've learned so much. And for our viewers, tell us, what is a hyperbaric chamber and how does it work?
Sure. So, hyperbaric medicine was started by the ICU many years ago. Typically, people would know it for the bends, so divers that would go down and come up too fast and then get these nitric gas bubbles in their blood system that would cause pain and various symptoms. And so what a chamber does is it actually dives you, and we dive to about 2 atmospheres, about 30 feet below sea level. And at that level, you can actually, reduce those gas bubbles back to nothing. But in terms of other conditions that a hyperbaric can be used for, it's useful to get that blood flow to areas that have been compromised.
What type of ailments do you treat at this clinic?
Okay, so our 2 typical treatments are typically delayed radiation injuries. So when we're talking about people who've had prostate cancer, who've had bladder cancer, that have had radiation treatment and then have injuries, so a bleeding bladder or a bleeding bowel, they do fantastically well with hyperbaric treatments. The other main stays of treatments are diabetic wounds or any kind of complex wounds that typically occur as a consequence of poor diabetes treatment. And we often also treat sudden hearing loss and any type of complex deep-seated infections such as bone infection. We call it osteomyelitis, and osteomyelitis in particular is tough to treat because there's not as much blood flow to those areas. And so the beauty of hyperbaric oxygen is as you drive up that partial pressure, you're able to deliver better treatment and better blood flow, better antibiotics to the area. It's important if people have PICC lines to know that when they should be in the chambers with those PICC lines, not after their treatments.
Now, you guys are located in Centenary Hospital. Can anybody come in who has access to the clinic?
It's a good question. So typically patients are referred from their physician. Sometimes if you have an ailment that you're unsure of, you can walk in and see one of us, but we do ask for a referral typically, from your practitioner because most of these services are covered, by the government.
Now, what made you want to become a doctor, and in particular go into anesthesia?
So, the reason I chose anesthesia was it gave me the ability to put the brain and behavior into play in the operating room. And so, we're like internal medicine, but we actually get to see physiologic responses of our patients. And then step into the pain world, which I do a lot of now. It was the next natural extension to look at not only acute pain, chronic pain, and some of the other endeavors that I'm involved with now.
So the reason you started the clinic is because?
So Alan, that's a great question. So the 3 of us who started this or founded this clinic were all physicians down at UHN. And we noticed that there was a huge gap in hyperbaric medicine. There is not a center east of Yonge Street until you get to Ottawa. And so we saw that there was a huge opportunity. We knew that the Scarborough community didn't have this service. We partnered with the Rouge Valley at the time and were able to develop this very good partnership to bring this service to the community.
Now, is there anything else you'd like to tell our Caribbean Vibration viewers about Rouge Valley Hyperbaric Medical Clinic?
So, I think it's important that, the viewership know that we exist. It's important that, things like prostate cancer, diabetes, all these things are important. And this is a resource that's probably underutilized and underknown in the community. And I just hope that, those watching and have their loved ones that suffer from some of these conditions can reach out to us.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And you're watching Caribbean Vibrations.
Caribbean Vibration.